Hunger is the spark that ignites the fire of achievement, but I am not speaking of the hunger that longs for food or comfort. I am speaking of a deeper hunger, the hunger of the soul, the hunger of the mind, the hunger that refuses to be satisfied with mediocrity. This kind of hunger separates those who dream from those who do's, who wait from those who act. It is that inner voice urging you to reach beyond the familiar, to step into the unknown, to dare for more when everything around you tells you to settle. Without hunger, potential stays locked away, but with hunger, potential bursts into life and transforms into accomplishment. When you truly understand the power of hunger, you begin to see that every advancement in life is born out of discontent. Think about it. Every invention, every discovery, every great movement that shifted the course of humanity was driven by someone who was dissatisfied with the way things were. They hungered for change. They hungered for more. That hunger pulled them out of comfort zones, pushed them through obstacles, and carried them into new realities. And the same principle applies to you. If you are not hungry, you will stay where you are. If you are hungry, you will find a way. Hunger creates energy. It gives you a reason to get up earlier, to stay up later, to study when others are distracted, to practice when others are resting. Hunger gives birth to focus. When you want something bad enough, you stop scattering your energy and you start channeling it toward what matters most. That is why hunger is not just a nice idea. It is a necessity. It is the difference between living a life by default and living a life by design. It is the bridge between wishing for something and working for it until it becomes reality. The truth is, life will present you with countless opportunities to settle. There will be moments when you achieve something that seems good enough and the world applauds you and everything in you wants to rest on that success. But if you stay hungry, you will know there is more inside you. You will celebrate the win, yes, but you will not let it lull you into complacency. Staying hungry means you see each accomplishment not as the finish line, but as the starting line for what's next. It means you keep asking, what else can I become? What else can I create? What else can I give? This kind of hunger requires courage because stepping into more always means stepping into uncertainty. It will stretch you. It will test you. It will demand sacrifices of comfort and ease. But that is the price of greatness. Those who succeed at the highest levels are not the ones who simply had talent. They are the ones who stayed hungry enough to keep going when things got hard. Talent without hunger dies in obscurity. Hunger without talent can still move mountains because hunger drives persistence, and persistence eventually carves a way through even the hardest stone. So ask yourself, what are you hungry for? Are you hungry to grow, to expand, to unlock the power that is lying dormant inside of you? Or have you allowed the comforts of life to make you full too soon? Because hunger is not something that comes from the outside. It is not about what you were given or what was taken away. Hunger is a choice. You choose to remain dissatisfied with average. You choose to reach higher. You choose to keep pushing when it would be easier to stop. And when you cultivate that hunger, you will find that life opens doors for you that were once invisible. Opportunities appear. People are drawn to you. Energy flows through you. Hunger fuels the journey, and it keeps the vision alive even when circumstances say it's impossible. To stay hungry is to stay alive, to stay awake, to stay in motion. It is the decision to never let your story end halfway, but to keep turning the page until you've written the life you were destined to live. Success is never a single moment, never a single event, never a place you arrive at and then stop moving. Success is a continuous journey, a process of becoming, a constant unfolding of the person you were created to be. When you stay hungry, you recognize that growth is not optional, it is essential. You understand that no matter how much you have accomplished, there is always more within you waiting to be expressed. You see, life does not reward those who sit back satisfied with yesterday's achievements. Life rewards those who keep stretching, who keep learning, who keep climbing. Growth is not a season. It is a lifelong commitment. Think about a seed planted in the ground. That seed contains potential, but the moment it stops growing, it begins to die. The same is true for you. You are filled with infinite potential, but potential without growth becomes wasted energy. Too many people stop at one level of achievement, one level of comfort, and they begin to decay in spirit because they no longer hunger for more. Staying hungry means refusing to let that happen. It means embracing the truth that as long as you are alive, there is another step you can take, another door you can open, another dream you can chase. And growth demands effort. It demands that you trade convenience for commitment, that you push past the temptation to remain in the safety of what you already know. It requires you to step out into the unknown, to fail sometimes, to face criticism, and to keep going regardless. And yet, that is where the reward lies. Staying hungry is about leaning into the stretch, because growth never takes place in comfort. Every time you stretch, you discover new strength, new skills, new levels of yourself that you didn't even know existed. The danger of success is that it whispers to you, you've made it, you can rest now. That voice is deceptive. The truth is, there is no finish line. There is only the next stage. When you understand that success is a journey, you stop measuring yourself by what you have and start measuring yourself by who you are becoming. Achievements will fade. Titles will be forgotten. But the person you become through the process of staying hungry, that is eternal. Hunger keeps your vision alive. It keeps you from getting lost in the comfort of the familiar. You can celebrate wins along the way, but you do not allow them to define your limit. Hunger reminds you that every achievement is proof not of how far you've come, but of how much further you can go. It keeps you open to new possibilities, new partnerships, new levels of creativity. When others stop because they are satisfied, hunger pushes you forward into undiscovered territory. Growth is also contagious. When you stay hungry and keep moving forward, the people around you are inspired to do the same. Your life becomes a mirror that reflects possibility back to them. They begin to see in you the evidence that there is always more to reach for. And that ripple effect is powerful. It creates momentum, not just for you, but for your family, your community, even generations to come. That is the legacy of someone who understands that success is a lifelong journey. So you must ask yourself, are you willing to keep climbing? Are you willing to stay hungry even when the applause fades, even when comfort calls, even when fear tries to hold you back? Because the truth is, every new level requires a new version of you. Every mountain you climb reveals a higher one beyond it. And if you keep pressing forward, you will never run out of opportunities to grow, to expand, to evolve. Staying hungry ensures that you never settle. It ensures that your life is not defined by what you once did, but by who you continually become. It keeps you awake, alert, alive to possibility. Success, after all, is not about reaching the end. It is about embracing the journey, savoring the growth, and living each day with the fire of someone who knows there is always more within them to give. Hunger without humility can become dangerous, and humility without hunger can leave a life unfulfilled. To live a life of impact, you need both working together in balance. Staying hungry drives you forward, keeps you reaching, keeps you stretching for more. But staying humble grounds you, keeps you centered, and reminds you that your success is not only about you, it is also about the lives you touch along the way. One without the other creates imbalance, but when they are joined together, they produce a life of power, purpose, and peace. When hunger is not balanced with humility, ambition can easily slide into arrogance. You've seen people like this, driven, determined, ambitious, but blinded by pride. They chase after more only to feed their ego, and in the process, they lose sight of their values, their relationships, and sometimes even themselves. Success built on arrogance is fragile because it rests on the need to prove something to the world rather than the desire to fulfill one's true potential. Hunger without humility may get you results, but it will not bring lasting fulfillment. On the other hand, humility without hunger can cause you to shrink back from opportunities. You may feel grateful for what you have, but without the fire of hunger, gratitude can become complacency. You can confuse humility with settling, convincing yourself that wanting more is selfish. But humility was never meant to hold you back. It was meant to keep you grounded as you rise higher. Humility reminds you to be thankful for what you've been given, while hunger pushes you to use those gifts to their fullest. Balance is where the power lies. Hunger pulls you toward growth, toward your vision, toward the next level of who you can be. Humility keeps your feet on the ground, ensuring that your rise does not disconnect you from your roots. Hunger keeps your eyes on what's possible, while humility keeps your heart aligned with what matters most. Together, they create a rhythm of life where you can soar high without losing your center. Humility also opens doors that arrogance will keep shut. People are drawn to those who are ambitious yet approachable, confident yet teachable. When you combine hunger with humility, you become someone who others want to work with, someone they trust, someone they respect. You radiate not just drive, but also character. You show that success is not only about climbing the mountain, but also about helping others up along the way. And in the end, that kind of influence leaves a mark far greater than personal achievements ever could. Consider the leaders, creators, and visionaries who left a lasting legacy. They were not just hungry for more. They were also humble enough to keep learning, to admit they didn't know it all, to stay open to growth, even when they had already achieved much. Humility kept them curious, hungry kept them moving, and the two together created impact that echoed beyond their lifetimes. That is the formula for a life that not only succeeds, but also inspires. Staying hungry and staying humble requires constant awareness. You must guard against pride when you achieve success, and you must guard against passivity when you are tempted to stay comfortable. It is a daily practice of reminding yourself that you are always a student, always a learner, always capable of more, yet always thankful for where you are. It is a delicate dance between striving and surrender, between ambition and appreciation. And this balance doesn't just shape your journey, it shapes your character. When people see you hungry for growth but humble in spirit, they don't just see success, they see integrity. They see authenticity. They see a life worth following. That is the kind of life that multiplies impact because it inspires others not only to pursue greatness, but also to pursue it with grace. To stay hungry and stay humble is to choose a life where ambition and gratitude walk side by side. It is to chase after all that you can be while remembering that every step forward is a gift. It is to rise high, but never lose sight of where you came from. It is the secret to lasting success, the kind that builds not just achievements, but also a legacy of influence, honor, and love. The truly humble understand something that most people overlook. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. Life is not static. It is always in motion. And the people who succeed are the ones who position themselves as lifelong learners. They do not assume they know it all, no matter how much experience or success they have accumulated. Instead, they remain curious, open, and willing to be taught. Staying humble is the key to this posture because humility removes the pride that blinds people from new possibilities. The humble are not threatened by new information, new mentors, or new perspectives. They welcome them, knowing that each lesson moves them closer to their vision. When you look at people who plateau, who stop advancing, you will almost always find that they stopped learning. They grew comfortable in their knowledge, content with their skills, satisfied with what they had achieved. The problem is that the world does not stand still, and neither does potential. New ideas, new opportunities, and new doors open every single day, but they can only be accessed by those willing to learn and adapt. Humility is what allows you to see that you do not have it all figured out, and hunger is what drives you to seek the lessons that will take you further. Together, they create momentum. Learning is not just about acquiring information. It is about transformation. Each lesson, each challenge, each failure is a teacher if you remain open to it. Humility helps you see value even in the difficult seasons of life. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the humble learner asks, "What can I learn from this?" That single shift in mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into stepping stones. Life itself becomes your classroom, and every person you encounter has the potential to teach you something new. The humble also understand the value of mentorship. They do not shy away from seeking guidance because they know that someone else's wisdom can save them years of struggle. Pride resists mentorship because it says, "I can do this on my own." Humility says, "Show me how to do this better." And when you combine that humility with the hunger to grow, you create exponential progress. Instead of inching forward slowly, you leap forward by standing on the shoulders of those who have already walked the path. Humility also keeps your ego in check when you do achieve success. You may have accomplished much, but the humble remind themselves that there is always more to learn. They do not mistake their current knowledge for final knowledge. They understand that the more they learn, the more they realize there is still to discover. That attitude keeps them fresh, curious, and adaptable, while others become rigid and stale. The humble remain students for life, and in doing so, they continue to evolve long after others have stopped. The beauty of humility is that it creates connection. When you are humble, people feel safe to share their wisdom with you, to teach you, to partner with you. They are drawn to your openness because it shows you are not in competition with them, but in collaboration. You begin to attract opportunities not by force, but by resonance. People sense that you are teachable, and because of that, they want to pour into you. Pride closes doors, humility opens them. When you choose humility, you choose growth. You acknowledge that the world is bigger than your current understanding, and you make yourself available to be shaped by it. You stop trying to prove that you are right and start seeking to become better. And when you live this way, you never run out of opportunities because life keeps rewarding those who are willing to learn. To stay humble is to remain teachable, and to remain teachable is to remain unstoppable. Every lesson builds on the next. Every experience adds to your wisdom, and every new perspective expands your vision. Humility does not make you small. It makes you limitless because it keeps you in a state of continuous growth. It keeps your mind open, your heart soft, and your future expanding. And when humility is paired with hunger, you become a force of nature always learning, always rising to new heights. When you stay hungry, you are driven by ambition, by a desire to achieve, by a need to create something greater than what exists today. But when you stay humble, you begin to realize that success was never meant to be kept to yourself. The energy of true fulfillment comes not from accumulation alone, but from contribution. You can reach heights of success and accomplishment, but if you stop there, you will always feel an emptiness inside. That emptiness is only filled when you use your success to make a difference in the lives of others. Contribution is the highest expression of growth because it transforms success into significance. There is a powerful shift that happens when you move from what can I get to what can I give. Hunger drives you to climb, but humility reminds you that the climb is not only for you. Every time you reach a new level, you are positioned to pull someone else up. Every lesson you learn, every victory you win, every challenge you overcome becomes a resource you can share. Contribution is not just about money or resources. It is about your time, your wisdom, your energy, your example. It is about living in such a way that others are inspired and equipped to rise as well. The truth is, you are not fulfilled when you only consume. You are fulfilled when you create and when you contribute. Think about it. The people who have left the greatest impact on the world are not remembered for what they took. They are remembered for what they gave. They stayed hungry enough to achieve extraordinary things, but humble enough to recognize that their achievements carried a responsibility to serve. That balance made their influence echo far beyond their lifetime. Contribution multiplies your success. When you give, you expand. The act of contribution stretches you beyond yourself, beyond your ego, and beyond your immediate circle. It forces you to think bigger, to see further, to imagine how your efforts can ripple outward into the world. And as you give, you grow, because contribution always demands that you step into more. You cannot lift of others without becoming stronger yourself. You cannot share wisdom without deepening your own understanding. Contribution is not a subtraction. It is an expansion. Humility plays a vital role here because it reminds you that you are not above anyone else. You may have more resources, more knowledge, or more experience, but humility keeps you aware that those things were entrusted to you so that you could steward them, not hoard them. Humility shifts your focus from proving yourself to improving the lives of others. And when you live this way, the hunger that once pushed you for personal achievement now fuels you for collective impact. Contribution also connects you to meaning. Achievements without meaning eventually feel hollow. You can climb the ladder of success only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. But when you commit to contribution, you ensure that your ladder leans against something worthwhile. You start to measure your days not only by what you built, but also by who you helped, not only by what you gained, but also by how you gave. That measure creates a life of fulfillment, a life where you look back and know that your success mattered. And the beauty of contribution is that it outlives you. The seeds you plant today will grow into trees that shade generations to come. The energy you invest into others will carry forward long after you are gone. That is legacy, the kind of success that continues multiplying even when you are no longer here to see it. Hunger gives you the drive to succeed. Humility gives you the heart to serve. Together, they create the kind of contribution that leaves an indelible mark on the world. To stay hungry and stay humble is to recognize that your journey is not only about reaching the top, but about what you do when you get there. Will you stand alone, or will you extend your hand? Will you consume everything you gather, or will you share it in ways that transform lives? The answer to those questions defines whether your life ends in achievement or in impact. And when you choose contribution, you choose impact every time. The legacy of balance is built on the ability to remain both hungry and humble at the same time. The world remembers those who kept their fire alive while staying grounded in gratitude. When you stay hungry, you refuse to let complacency write the end of your story. When you stay humble, you protect your character so that your success does not collapse under the weight of pride. Together, hunger and humility create a legacy that is not only about what you accomplish, but about who you become in the process. Ambition without humility often burns bright, but burns out quickly. It produces people who achieve much, but leave behind a trail of broken relationships, unmet responsibilities, and forgotten values. On the other hand, humility without hunger can lead to unrealized potential, a life that could have impacted many, but settled for little. The legacy that endures is born from the marriage of the two, the hunger that fuels achievement and the humility that ensures it is used for good. When you think about legacy, you must realize it is not just about what you leave behind when you are gone. It is about what you live right now, every single day. Legacy is not built at the end of life. It is built moment by moment, choice by choice. Every time you push yourself to grow, every time you keep the fire of hunger alive, you are writing part of your legacy. Every time you choose humility over arrogance, gratitude over pride, service over self-interest, you are shaping a legacy that others will feel long after your words and actions have faded. Hunger ensures that your life is not stagnant. It keeps you climbing, innovating, reaching, and creating. Humility ensures that you climb without losing sight of what matters most. That balance creates stability because success without character is unstable, but success with humility becomes a foundation others can stand on. When people look back on your life, they will not just remember what you achieved, they will remember how you carried yourself as you achieved it. Did you lift others as you rose? Did you stay teachable even when you were celebrated? Did you let success change you, or did you stay rooted in who you were meant to be? The legacy of balance also teaches others how to live. People may not always listen to what you say, but they will always watch how you live. When they see you hungry enough to keep striving, yet humble enough to keep serving, they see a model worth following. Your example becomes a guidepost for the next generation, showing them that greatness is not about choosing between ambition and humility, but about weaving them together into a life of integrity. And balance is not something that happens automatically. It is a choice you make daily. It is easy to let hunger consume you until you are running on ego. It is also easy to let humility become passivity until you are no longer moving forward. Balance requires awareness, reflection, and intention. It requires you to ask yourself constantly, am I still hungry enough to grow? And am I still humble enough to learn? If the answer is yes, then you are living in the sweet spot where legacy is born. The most powerful legacies are not those of wealth or for fame, but those of character. People may forget the awards you won or the titles you carried, but they will never forget how you made them feel, how you inspired them, and how you treated them. Hunger ensures you do not waste your potential, and humility ensures you do not waste your influence. Together, they make you unforgettable, not because of what you had, but because of who you were. To stay hungry and stay humble is to commit to a lifelong pursuit of balance. It is to keep your fire burning while keeping your feet on the ground. It is to rise higher without losing sight of the foundation beneath you. And when you live this way, you do more than build a career or accumulate possessions. You build a legacy that says to the world, here was someone who lived with passion, who walked with humility, and who left the world better than they found it.